domestic policy hat. What kind of regulations, sir, would you like to see, if any, regarding homosexuals serving in the military?
I'm personally against don't ask, don't tell. I think what we need to do is get the politicians out of the military. We need to have the military institute policies that are reasonable, that will ensure the safety of our troops, the morale of our troops. But long term, anyone who wants to protect this great country deserves the same constitutional rights as everyone else.
Congresswoman DeGette, what kind of regulations would you like to see, if any, ma'am, regarding homosexuals serving in the military?
Well, not only am I personally against don't ask, don't tell, but I'm hoping that I'll get the opportunity to vote to repeal that law this year. It's a law that not only doesn't work, but is grossly unfair to our fighting men and women who are serving our country nobly and bravely all around the world. And so I intend to vote to repeal that bill. I've been against it since its inception.
Let me shift to Dr. Fallon, let me come back to you. What are your thoughts? Let's shift to the economy. What are your thoughts on further stimulus funding for states?
Well, Stimulus 1, Stimulus 2, and Stimulus 3 weren't very effective. As we've seen the increased spending, we've had an increase in our unemployment. Keynesian one-sided economics has not been proven to work. What we need to do is grow our economy through the private sector. We need to get government out of the way so that private jobs can be sustainable over a long period of time. So I'm against further stimulus spending. Our Congress has an addiction to spending. We need to live within our means, just like our families do, just like our businesses do. And government spending has been proven to not be the answer.
Congresswoman DeGette, your thoughts on further stimulus funding for states in particular?
I agree with my opponent. We should not have further stimulus spending unless it's paid for. In other words, if we want to have infrastructure improvements, then that needs to be paid for somewhere else in the budget, through tax revenues that are existing or something else. But we should not have any more deficit spending. I will beg to differ with my opponent, though, because the stimulus bill of last year, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office has just shown that unemployment would be 2% higher if it had not been for that program, and we would have many, many more jobless people in this country. In addition, we would have had teachers and police officers and other state employees thrown out of their jobs. We would have also lost unemployment benefits for people and COBRA benefits for people. The TARP money, which was a bipartisan bill that was passed when President Bush was president, actually has now been almost totally repaid, in part due to the leadership of Congress. So while I don't think that we should have any additional stimulus spending unless it's offset someplace else, I do think that the stimulus that we passed helped stabilize our economy, and we had really good news today about the fact that the recession's over and now we need to climb out of it.
You went about 30 seconds long, so Dr. Fallon, you want me to give you 30 seconds to talk about the economy and the recession being over?
Yeah, how did that summer of recovery feel to you guys? It's interesting that now that we've spent $1 trillion, any more spending is too much. And if we're going to, give the CBO credit, garbage in equals garbage out. The numbers we give the CBO are based on congressional estimates. If we're going to say that we saved X number of jobs, I like to say that I saved 1 million jobs today by running around Wash Park.
What role should the United States play if Israel comes under attack and in a worst-case scenario is unable to defend itself successfully?
I hope that situation will never happen. I have great hopes for the peace process, which has been jump-started again by this administration, and the conversations that happened last week in Washington and in the monthly meetings that will happen. I think we should put all of our efforts as a U.S. into the peace process so that we can gain stability in the Middle East, and so that will never happen.
Dr. Fallon, what role should the United States play if Israel comes under attack?
Israel, as a sovereign nation, has the absolute right to protect itself from attack from outside. elements that wish to do it harm. As a sovereign nation, it's a democracy and our greatest ally in a very unstable area, we need to support them 100%. If that's military, then so be it. My hope is the same as my opponent, that that doesn't happen, but we need to let the world know that we will stand with Israel and we'll stand with them strongly, so that is a deterrent to make sure that they realize that they're not just taking Israel, they're taking the strength and the compassion and the caring of this country.